Hello, friends. Welcome to the Plodcast. Week 5, I believe. Or Plodcast 5. If you're actually playing along at home, we missed a week in there. But shh. I feel like Dragon and King counts for 2 weeks. So listen to that again. I know you already listened to it once. Because you're a good friend. And a good fan. I'm already stumped. I just let it fly. And I'm already stumped. I missed a week. I was off from my day job for 2 weeks. And I did nothing. I did no writing. I had hoped to get some writing done, but I did nothing. I did none. I played video games. I hung out. I did a bit of drinking. Yeah. But on the plus, I started Fallout 4. It's fantastic. So expect something for the 8-bit backtrack with a Fallout theme. I also picked up Marvel's Puzzle Quest. Thanks a lot, Brent. Now my life is ruined. I'm constantly attached to this. I'm spending coins. I don't know what it means. I got this team of this ragtag team of C-list Marvel characters. It's not good. So next week I'm going to talk about one of those two games. Probably Puzzle Quest because it's just ridiculous and I think it'd be funny. So yeah, my apologies for missing last week, but I don't care. Like I said and keep saying, my podcast, my rules. I guess I claim weekly, but we'll see. I am having fun, but I was on vacation, so I took a vacation for a week. Get off my back. Back up off my case. Anyway, poetry. You're not here for my useless banter. You're here for my amazing poetry and the things that I do with words and my voice. I build these podcasts piece by piece, and then sometimes I rearrange the pieces. So this piece is a little bit out of context, but I'll fill in the rest of the story later. But I wanted to share this piece. It's called Bored with Games. I'm getting bored with games. We set up the game board to play, but the results are always the same tired, failed cliches. We've lost the instructions, we have no direction, we just roll the dice and take our chances. Sidestepping moving spaces, praying for doubles, just to go in circles faster. The game of life is a trivial pursuit, Jenga stacked troubles and frustrations creatively piled and ready to topple. I just want to put on my top hat, boot, and thimble, put my Scotty dog and my iron in a wheelbarrow that I'll tow behind my race car all the way to my battleship. I'll take all my players to Boardwalk, park in a place right next to a paycheck. But I can't make the pieces fit right for perfection, and it always blows up in my face. It's a risky operation, and hourglass sand is thin. Some days it's boggling, scrabbles my brain, and I can't find the words. I have hope, means, support, ambition. I can't connect the four. I'm sorry, I have no clue. How to find the ladders amongst the snakes, the leaders amongst the fakes. Just the hungriest of hippos, and I'd be best just to hide my white balls. My gnarled monkey's paw outstretched, searching the bottom of the barrel for brethren. Just more snakes. Why'd we even set up the board? Just to set up the board? We don't even have all the pieces. We can't save Candyland from global warming. If life is a game, we can't all win. Life should be more like a word search. Scanning the spaces between the lines for stories that run in all directions. The only goal, completion. You don't win a word search. Take the words you find. Connect them with crossword clues, because what's more fulfilling than staring at a completed crossword? A map of stories and scars and memories, built from wherever your token started from. So, like I said, context for that poem. I'm going to Tarantino it just a little bit. And segue into a new segment of the show called Mundane Made Metal. And what I'm going to do is take something that's funny to me, or mundane and lame typically, and I'm going to metal it up. And the first installment of Mundane Made Metal is an old jingle for a game that's near and dear to my heart called Jenga. Mundane Made Metal, Jenga.
You take a block from the bottom and you put it on top. Take a block from the middle and you put it on top. The eaters and the doubters, but you don't give a bit. Weebles and wobbles as you build it all up. Jenga, 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 Jenga. Great game with a strange name.
So I had the idea for Mundane Made Metal, just a stupid thing. I'm going to say mundane things through this megaphone effect that I have and try and make them more dramatic or important somehow. And the Jenga theme, for some reason, has been lodged in my head since the 80s, and it won't go away. And I wonder sometimes what important piece of information did I lose because of that. But we go on. So I recorded that, and then I was like, hey, I have that board game piece. I'm going to do that, board with games. And then boom, context for piece one. So that's what happened. Let me know if you guys like Mundane Made Metal, or if I should never do it again. Actually, until later in the show, so you get 2 tastes of it. Maybe request something. I'll read your favorite soup label, all metal, or cooking instructions, or I don't know, whatever you want. Who cares? It's funny. It takes like 2 minutes to do it, and it's kind of hilarious. So yeah, let me know. On to something more serious. This is this week's edition of Other People's Poetry. It's a piece by Robert Service. It was a piece when I was in media class in like grades, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, I can't remember what year. We had to do a film project, and we were taking still shots of this storybook, and the book was The Cremation of Sam McGee. And I got to do the voiceover for the project. And when we listened back to what I had recorded, it was the first time in my life that I was ever like, wow, that actually, like, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I could do this. Like, this is kind of a thing. And it was a lot of fun to do it as well. So the piece always kind of stuck with me. Plus, it's a really badass story. I'll just let the piece speak for itself, I guess. But that's why this piece is important to me and steered me a little bit, at least, towards where I'm at now. I hope you like it. The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge. They cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd closed, then the lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of a moan, it's the cursed cold and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows, oh God, how I loathed the thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, I felt half mad, but swore I would not give in, and I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin, till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May, and I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see, and I borrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. And I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. But the stars came out, and they danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, this is the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee. And now, a haiku. When it's cold outside, it's hard to type properly. Typothermia. Round 2 of Mundane Made Metal. I decided on Little Miss Muffet. I don't know why. Popped into my head. Why not? My podcast, my rules. Here we go. Mundane Made Metal. Little Miss Muffet.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away.
And now, a word from definitely not our sponsor. $5 foot long. $5 foot long is actually $7. Stop by any Subway sandwich shop in your area and we'll take care of you. Hungry? How's about you let us give you 12 inches of assorted meat? Foot-long subs are actually 10 inches. Served on a bun made fresh that day. Buns may contain yoga mats. Choice cuts of sliced loaf meat. bologna, topped with the freshest vegetables. Those tomatoes have been out like all day. Toasted, not toasted, the possibilities are endless. So if you're hungry for something different, and you can't quite put your finger on it, maybe you've got a hankering for a 10-inch questionable vegetable bologna loaf sandwich served on a yoga mat bun. We call it assorted. So come on in, watch a sandwich artist, not a real artist, fumble and struggle with a mountain of plastic cheese. Watch the exposed lettuce brown in front of your eyes. Cringe as the definition of some comes into play when adding Southwest Chipotle. Watch a miserable person butcher your lunch by putting whatever the fuck they want on the gross bun. And then watch yourself pay for it because you just have to get back to work or school or yoga or wherever the fuck you're going to. Look, bottom line, just come to Subway. You could be just like Jared. Don't ever be like Jared. Subway. Don't ever be like Jared. Take that, Subway. Before we move on, I'd like to plug a show happening this Wednesday at Cuchullin's Irish Pub in Mississauga on Queen Street South, I think? I don't know. Look it up. Cuchullin's. It's spelled weird. It's not Cuculigans or Culcalanes or Cthulhuigans. I've been corrected. Cuchullin's. I think I'm saying it right now. But yeah, we flip tables. The qualifier for the Canadian Individual Poetry Slam is happening, and the feature is going to be Proof Rock Shadowrunner. He's I think a multi-time national champion. He won the Canadian Individual Poetry Slam last year. He's fantastic. I've seen him feature a whole bunch of times, and he always blows my mind every single time. Even now, even poems I've already seen before blow my mind all over again. So, come, do it. Come. Show starts at 9 o'clock. Let me know if you want to come. Chances are, I know who you are personally. Strangers aren't listening to this. I'll come pick you up, and I will bring you there. I have a van. Mad seats. So let's do this. No strangers, though, for reals. No weirdos. And we'll go. Come see if I qualify to go off to nationals in Vancouver and compete with the rest of Canada. It could happen. We'll find out on Wednesday. But yeah, Proof Rock. Don't miss Proof Rock. He's not this side of Toronto that often, so don't miss an opportunity to do that. Cuchullin's Irish Pub, we flip tables, Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Be there. This next piece I wanted to put in solely because it has been freezing outside for the last little bit, and this piece makes me feel all hot inside. Sometimes people are like, don't complain about the cold because when the hot comes and it's too hot, I don't want to hear you complain about that. Well, you know what? Up yours, because minus 30 and plus 30 are extreme temperatures. So I'm just complaining about extreme temperatures, and that's one thing. I'm not complaining about two things. So up yours, imaginary guy in my head. Take that. But anyway, this song is about being too hot. It goes like this.
Plus 49 with the humidex, heat exhaustion causing side effects, complex symptoms. It's perplexing how the city gets as hot as it gets. Used to think global warming was bullshit, that hole in the ozone layer and the whole bit. Now I'm recycling, trying to find it's a hybrid, telling the sun you're just too hot in that sky, kid. Fuck me, I'm all nauseous and sweaty, cautious, trying to keep the steering wheel steady. Accosted by heat exhaustion, wasn't ready to break out SPF 120. I should be able to enjoy a day this sunny, but I'm yelling at God like this is not funny. How am I gonna do my job and make a living when I got heat stroke and the sun is so unforgiving?
Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city.
There's a haze in the air these days, I'm serious. God's inhumane is what my theory is. Got a plot to make the planet hot as Mercury is, like hell on Earth for curious purposes. Is this because we didn't take care of the polar bears? Is this because we dumped a bunch of oil in the ocean? Is that why the world's warming up like solar flares? Is this why our situation seems so hopeless? It's 1,000 degrees. This is atrocious. Dehydration, headache, I need ibuprofen. Sunburn to a crisp, I need aloe lotion. If I make it through this, I should get a trophy. I feel like I might drop right here on the sidewalk. Murdered by the sun, outlining me in white chalk. I'm too hot, I can't cool down. God's got it in for me in this whole hot town.
Town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city.
Friends, thank you for listening to the Plodcast all the way to the end. So I'm going to make some jokes at the end, and that way I'll know who did and didn't listen all the way to the end. Now we'll know. I'll touch my right eyebrow or something next time I see you. And if you see me do that, you give me finger guns or something, and we'll know. And we'll have that. And then I'll know who's an asshole and not listening. So there's that. That's pretty sweet. Figured that out. But yeah, thank you so much for listening all the way through. Next week, I'm going to either tackle Fallout or Marvel Puzzle Quest. It's gonna be Puzzle Quest for sure. Maybe I'll play around and record myself and say the things that I think as I play. That could be fun. And again, suggestions for Mundane Made Metal. Suggestions for the 8-bit backtrack. Suggestions for poetry covers. Anything. You want to hear it? I'll read it. Let's do it. Let's have fun. Follow me on Twitter @Pojob. Join my group on Facebook. We got to beef up those numbers. That group looks sad. A sad amount of people in that group for how many friends are on my list. If you are on my list, you're supposed to be my Facebook friend. You should be in my group. There should be more people in my group than I have friends on my list. But sadly, the numbers are bad. Tell your friends to join. Share this around. Listen to Dragon and King again. I'm babbling. I have nothing left to say. Limping into the barn yet again. Good evening, friends.